Hello there guys, good afternoon. It's the early afternoon here. Hello everyone, welcome back to Younes Talks Football. Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. Video number 1 of 2. It's a big one because things broke last night and my take's going to be a little bit different than I think what many expect, and compared to some of the other lads that have done their videos as well and discussed about Mason Mount. Right, we're going to start off with Mason Mount, and then we've got news that's gone down this morning which impacts Chelsea hugely, but is news in relation to Declan Rice and Man City and Arsenal and West Ham. We're going to get into that in the second part of the video, but starting off, we are going to discuss this whole Mason Mount issue. Before we get going, don't forget, subscribe if you are new, and make sure you have your eyes peeled on the content that is dropping. Let's get cracking. I'm going to show you what went down last night, and then we'll take it from there, because I think it just backs up what I've tried to say for quite some time in relation to the modern footballer and the way that they conduct themselves. And I think the false reality that people have when they look to these footballers and what they expect from them. So let's take it from there. Here it is from Fabrizio Romano, starting off with breaking news. Mason Mount's camp in the last few hours have told Chelsea again they are not signing a new deal. Chelsea have therefore dropped the price to 60 to 65 million pounds. Fabrizio gives us the indicator himself. I understand Manchester United will bid again for Mason Mount. Personal terms are 100% agreed and sealed. Mount plans not to sign a new deal at Chelsea. Man United want quick resolution and won't make crazy bids. Chelsea now flexible, 60 to 65 million enough to get it done. So, right. That's the latest on Mason Mount. I saw people angry, people fuming, people like, oh, how could he do that? How could he do that? Don't expect loyalty from every single footballer that's at your club, no matter who they are. Even if it's someone like Mason Mount, who's been at Chelsea since he was 8. When it came down to the whole contract negotiation and the things that were happening and his demands and all of that, do you remember at the time? I wasn't saying, oh, how dare Mason Mount do that? He's meant to be proper Chelsea. He's meant to care for the club, right? At the end of the day, I was saying, look, he's going to come out with that. He's got his demands. Now, if Chelsea are going to turn that down or if they're going to accept it, that's up to them. But Mason Mount's going to look out for himself. He's going to look out for his career. He's going to look out for what's best for himself first. And that is what people need to expect from modern players nowadays. Now, I'm not saying that's everybody. You are going to get some exceptions. You just are. There are going to be maybe 1 or 2, right? But it's not going to be 10 or 11 or 12 like it used to be back in the day. Back in the day, you could look at your team and be like, yep, all of them, loyal. And you know it, and they've proven it, and you can just see it. You just know. Now, that's not the case. There's loyalty. There is loyalty. But it's not the number 1 priority. Back in the day, footballers would look at that badge and go, nah, no matter what. And even if it came to a situation where, okay, look, you're going to have to take a pay cut or something, the club's in a situation, okay, no problem. I understand. And I'll be here. Don't worry, I'm here, right? That used to be basically every player in the team back in the day. Now, when I say back in the day, I don't even mean the last 15 or 20 years. I'm going back. Because even the last 15 or 20 years, money got involved. So it started to decrease at that point anyway. Things started to decrease when we got the first £1 million signing in this country. From the day of when Alan Shearer moved to Newcastle, for example. I mean, those days was when you could start to see money was starting to trickle in and people started to shift from football minds to business minds. Okay, football to, I'm thinking about making a little profit here. That's when it shifted. So when you look at players and how they used to be back in the day, the 70s and the 80s, everyone was loyal. We trickled into the 90s, the 2000s. You do have some loyalty. We'll give examples. Totti at Roma. Gerrard at Liverpool. Even John Terry at Chelsea. There were players that were at the club for the longevity of their careers, and no matter what happened, they were not going anywhere. No matter what, no matter who came in, I'm not going anywhere. I'm loyal to this club. I will stay here till I retire or to the end of my career when I've got nothing left to offer. Those existed, and we had them. I'd like to say in our team at Chelsea, the loyalty we had from JT, even Lamps, Didier, Ashley Cole, Czech. You know what I mean? All of those, for their prime years at that club, they offered to us and they gave to us. I'd like to think there was a level of loyalty there. But don't get it twisted. Money's a factor. And nowadays, it's taken priority. So footballers will still be loyal, but it's not the priority. How much am I getting? And I will give you my loyalty. That's what they think now. So people need to come to a realization as to where players' heads are, and notice the exceptions. Notice the exceptions. Notice those ones that you can just see and go, nah, you know what? He is loyal. He is loyal. And we've got an example. But even then, don't be 100% sure. Don't give 100% backing to that player. Have the respect. Give him what he deserves for what you can see at that moment. But never write it off. Never write it off that if a big club came in with a bigger offer, that player would leave you. Never write it off. Never. Who? Well, with Mason Mount and Man United right now, this is why I said it for a time. I just didn't see that there was going to be let's say, a coming to the middle between Mason Mount and Chelsea. It was never going to happen. That's what I've expected him to go for ages. I've said it countless times. Mason Mount will be going. I don't see how it's gonna be resolved. But people's problem now is what happened last night, where he told the club, "I'm not signing a new deal." And that's where I have to look to Mason Mount. And my exception to everything that I've just said is, mate, you could have at least left on good terms. You could have at least left on a level of, look, I've given what I've given. It's not worked out. Sometimes deals don't happen, right? I want to move on, but I will not undermine the club, not just for not undermining the club, but the supporters who backed you all the way. That's where there's a problem now. That's where I have to look and go, okay, everything that I've said in relation to loyalty, that's one thing. But there's a way of leaving the club. You know, we all know you're going, but there's a way of leaving. Eden Hazard left in the perfect way. N'Golo Kante, who just left in the perfect way. Players that offered what they could offer, they gave what they gave. Mason Mount, to be honest, and I've said this countless times, brilliant professional. Gets, works hard, puts his head down, goes all out in terms of what he can actually do, right? In terms of his training, he's always there. He gives everything that he can give. We know that. We know that he's a top professional. But fans recognise that. And if you leave in a certain way, fans will just undermine that and throw it away. If you leave in a good way, though, people will respect you. Even if you're leaving, they will wish you the best. They will tell you good luck. They will give you thank yous. They will, just like N'Golo Kante did. Now, for Mount to make it clear, in this way, I'm not signing a new deal. Why? Why has that been done? Because some people are going to say, oh, it's not a big deal. Yeah, we know he's not signing a new deal. He's just told the club that. Everyone knows he's not going to sign a new deal. But the fact that he's saying it now is to try and force Chelsea to bring the price down so he can shift to Man United ASAP. Come on. A deal will be done. We know a deal. What, you think? This is where I look at Mason. Do you think Chelsea are stupid to keep you for another year when we know you want to go and then risk having you leave on a free? When Mason Mount is pure profit? You think Chelsea are that stupid? Come on. We've criticised the owners and we've done all that, but they're not that dumb. It's like PSG and Mbappe. What, you think they're going to keep Mbappe? Are you mad? They're not going to keep Mbappe for his final year. They're not going to let him go for free. Come on. There's a level of logic here. So Mason Mount's antics to force the move through, when we all know the move's going to happen, don't worry, shows that everyone that said proper Chelsea, everyone that said, Chelsea no matter what, it didn't even have that level of respect to just leave in a good way. Know that the deal will be done. Don't worry. Now I've got to force it through. I've got to force Chelsea's hand here. If not, I'm going to stay for a year. No, you're not going to stay. A deal will be done between Chelsea and Man United. Do not worry. But you got to respect the fact that Chelsea are trying to get as much as they can for you, seeing as you came from the academy. Chelsea are in a financial situation in terms of balancing the books and sorting FFP out. You could have at least respected that to know that Chelsea are trying to get as much as possible, knowing that you were at that club since 8 years old and people expect you to love the club in the way that you are meant to. But Loyalty isn't there. This is the thing, people. As I said, except for the few. People will always footballers will put themselves first nowadays and then put the club after. That's just the reality. So Mason Mount leaving in this way has put a sour taste in everybody's mouth. And I get it. You know, if he had just kept shut, deal goes through. You don't think everyone's going to be wishing him the best? You don't think everyone's going to be like, thank you very much for everything you've done since you were 8 years old? You don't think everyone's going to do that? But now the fact that this has happened, people, and I agree with this. Mason Mount got a banner. He wasn't even playing. He got a banner. Did N'Golo Kante get a banner? No. In his 7 years at Chelsea, N'Golo Kante did not get a banner once. That's a lesson to everybody that was riding on that bus of, proper Chelsea. Kante was proper Chelsea, and everyone ignored it. Got to realise the mistakes here and learn from it. Simple as that. So be careful who you back. Be careful who you... And I'm not saying don't back the team. Back the players, of course. But there's a certain level of backing that you give. You always have to put in your head that player can always just turn whenever they have to. For themselves, for their careers. And right now in modern day football, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the reality of the game. But fans need to realise that. Fans need to get it into their heads. That's the way that it functions with them now. That just is. Now, talking about someone that, as I said, right now is the best example of someone who you could align with a proper Chelsea is none other, Reece James. And this sums it up. In a world where the term proper Chelsea gets thrown around at any given moment, don't be a Mason Mount, be a Reece James. Look, this is the reality of the situation. Reece James right now has shown everything so far. I stress so far because I have to say what I've said. So far, has been the perfect example of someone that is going to be backing the club. But do not write it off in the future. You never know nowadays. You never know. You always have to give that level of, okay, cool. I'll keep an eye. But so far, I can't take it away from Reece James. Reece James so far has been the perfect example. Real Madrid were interested, didn't want to go. Signed a new deal, wanted to stay through thick and thin, happy to be here. Yes, gets a good salary, let's get it twisted. But it is what it is. And he's staying, and he's right now seen as the one that's going to be the future captain of this team. So... This is it. This is the reality of the situation. But this whole Mason Mount story has opened a lot of eyes. And I'm glad. Overall, I'm glad. Now, let me know your thoughts down below in relation to Mason Mount. We'll get into more detail if we have to, depending on the news that pops up in relation to Man United. They're obviously going to come in with a new bid now. Chelsea are going to be willing to let him go for less because their hands have been forced by Mason Mount now. So it is what it is. That's the reality of the situation. Let's see what happens. As I said yesterday, I expect the deal to get done 55, 60 million. I think a deal will be done. I reckon 55 plus 5 is my guess that Man United and Chelsea will agree on. So, brings it all to 60. Chelsea will take it, knowing that Mace has caused a fuss. We'll move on, take the money, see you later, and he's gone. So, that's the reality. Let me know your thoughts down below. Now, let's go over to his best mate. His best mate, Declan Rice. What's the latest there? Here's the latest from David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano. Man City expected to submit an offer to West Ham for Declan Rice today. Man City have serious interest in recruiting 24-year-old England midfielder. It is anticipated a formal bid will be lodged soon to rival Arsenal for signing. That came from David Ornstein. Fabrizio has said the Declan Rice deal. West Ham always expected Man City to join the race after Gundogan decision. Man City will only bid if player agrees to the moves. Arsenal remain confident and prepared to bid again for Declan. Arteta is insisting. There's no approach from Man United. And then Fabrizio gave us an update. Man City have decided to bid for Declan Rice after calling West Ham last Friday to be informed. Man City also checked the player side. Understand Rice is open to any move. So deal depends on the clubs now. Arsenal planning to bid again since last week. West Ham are in the perfect situation here. They've got a bidding war between Man City and Arsenal for their prized asset. Beautiful situation to be in terms of business. So West Ham are about to get a lot of money. And that's exactly what they wanted. Man City coming in, though, is going to cause alarm bells. Not for Arsenal, because Arsenal know what they need to do. For Chelsea, Gundogan's left. He's gone to Barca. Here we go's already been given. They're now moving for Declan Rice. Arsenal are obviously moving for Declan Rice, but now they face stiff competition from the very best in terms of finances, stature, club accomplishment. Manchester City, they've got everything. They could, if they wanted to, just get the deal done like that. Now, it depends on Declan Rice as well, but it seems like he's open to either team. So, what does this mean? Arsenal's interest in Caicedo could be reignited here. So Chelsea need to act fast, mate, quick, because right now, if I had to pick a team that's favourites to get Declan Rice, if Man City are bidding, it's Man City. Arsenal cannot compete. They can't. They can try, unless if personal terms are better, if the structure is better, if Man City are just not willing, if they're just like, nah, we can't be bothered, we're not going to go that far, you know, and it's just down to them. But if they really wanted to, they could wipe the floor with Arsenal. They really could. So Chelsea now need to hurry up, because if Man City were to get the advantage on Declan Rice, Arsenal could then turn to Caicedo, who's already agreed personal terms in the past with Arsenal, could try and get that deal done and cut through in terms of the line between Chelsea and Caicedo, and Chelsea could be left with nothing. So Chelsea need to hurry up now. If Man City are moving for Declan Rice, get the deal done now, because the best case scenario would be if Declan Rice did end up at Man City, Chelsea have already done a deal with Caicedo and Brighton, and Arsenal left with nothing. Great. Brilliant. Because then at that point, all they got is Havertz and Odegaard, and they've got no one in behind. They might have to keep Thomas Partey in that case. They might have to. So, look, we have to move. Chelsea, get a move on now. Caicedo, go and get it done. The outgoings are happening. We know Chelsea were in this position of trying to get all the outgoings out and then move for Caicedo. No, look, the outgoings are moving. They're moving very well. Go and get Caicedo. At the same time, move now. Go and get Caicedo. So let's wait and see what happens in relation to that. Let me know your thoughts down below. And there we are. I will let you know what goes down later on in video number 2. So let's keep tabs on the day. Let's see what else happens. And I will see all of you later on. Thank you very much for watching. Leave me your thoughts down below. Don't forget. And hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you have enjoyed this. I'll see you later on tonight. Have a good one, people. In a bit. Take care. And peace.